This episode of Nothing Important is brought to you by First Base and Beyond, the hilarious new book that defines the bases and expands the baseball metaphor for getting laid. A perfect gift for the holidays, bachelor parties, or just to have around to settle debates. Ever wonder what getting to third base really means? Get First Base and Beyond by going to www.firstbaseandbeyond.com. That's firstbaseandbeyond.com. Some of the proceeds also go to Save the Tatas. Firstbaseandbeyond.com. Copywritten by Bryan of the Nothing Important Podcast.
You kind of got cut off, but you started talking about your Eeyore-ness.
Yeah, I did.
Right, and then we went into something else, and then some interview that we talked to. So define Eeyore-ness to us.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Riveting.
I think I just did it. See, that's what I was doing there.
Good.
I was doing it with an example of it.
Yeah.
You're listening to Nothing Important. Please enjoy the show. That's great. That works.
Friend zone where you can still have sex with them.
That's the friend
zone. Sex friend zone is the best friend zone, really, if you think about it.
The more you know.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Nothing Important Podcast. Insert witty comment here.
Boom.
I'm Bryan, and with me, as always, is my buddy Dave. Dave, good evening.
I tried to take my bicycle for a ride, but it was too tired.
Yeah, because it's too tires on a bike. Okay, cool. And then, of course, with us back.
Insert witty comment here.
I get it.
Yeah. Back in
get
effect with us this evening is our buddy Big Grim Tim. Tim, how's it going?
Ahoy.
Hello. It's kind of interesting right now. We're sitting in the studio, Third City Sound in Joliet, Illinois.
Beautiful. Joliet,
It's like midnight on a Friday. We usually try to get the podcast out by noon on Friday, and it's midnight on Friday. So at best, this is coming out late afternoon Saturday. But that's okay because we're going into the holiday season, right? There's Christmas next week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really sure what we're going to do as far as a show, but we'll probably throw up a song or two just to put it out there. New Year's, again, I don't know if we're going to do a show or have a dark week. Me and my personal life, just with, I own a business with my wife.
We understand you have the New Year's Eve orgy that you have to tend to, and the cleanup of the after that is just crazy, which is why you got the au pair.
Right, of course.
You know.
Help clean out lots of paper towels.
How's her cum mop skills?
Satisfactory so far. There's always room for improvement. So, before we get going, Dave, and this is kind of cool because you kind of know some of this, but you don't. Next year, starting in February, not only is the second season of Better Call Saul starting up, so It's All Good Man is going to be full effect.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 2 shows a week, right? It's All Good Man, and then, of course, every Thursday we put out Preview with a Prior, where we talk about the next week's episode.
That's right.
Right? Then
I forgot about Preview with a Prior. I got to get my shit together.
And then we have Nothing Important, which we do every week, where we talk to people more famous than we'll ever be.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But big experiment, we have like a 4-show engagement on 1490 AM in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. 1490 AM. Yeah, it's
Tampa, Florida.
It's gonna be a little bit different. That'll be the Nothing Important broadcast. And we're actually, what I want to bring up to you is I brought it up and we've been advertising that to kind of, part of this experiment is trying to see like what we could do as far as sponsors. Like this first round, we're not out to make any money. We're just trying to cover costs.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be interested to know, we actually have what I would say a decent handful of sponsors already paid in full and ready to be promoted on the Nothing Important broadcast.
That's pretty fucking
And of
amazing.
course, that makes them sponsors of the Nothing Important podcast and It's All Good Man. Just a quick rundown. Our friends from Tugboat Coffee, Eric, he was on our show.
One of our very first guests.
One of our very first guests.
Never thought I would be so fascinated by coffee.
Right? Like, I don't even drink coffee. I got to be honest. Tim, are you a coffee guy?
I am.
You are. Okay. Dave, you don't drink coffee either, right?
Not since my internship, no.
Right. Okay. So that was like early on, like a year ago we talked to Eric.
Well, I think it was February or March, yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Good episode.
Super cool dude. So they're sponsoring the show, which
Thanks,
is
Tim.
completely awesome. So check them out at tugboatcoffee.com. Also, we have the Pepper Jelly Company, Mike Diaz with the Cuban Sriracha.
Yeah, I think he missed his Kickstarter, the one we were promoting, and he's trying again, right?
I'm not sure if he's trying again, but he is in production, so we should be getting some hot sauce. But he's sponsoring the broadcast, and he was somebody who was really interesting too. If you go back and look at the episode, he's kind of using his family recipe to make artisan small batch Cuban flavored Sriracha. And it's kind of like we talked to him, and it was such a passion project, right?
Right, yeah.
Talk about like sriracha hot sauce.
Yeah, I might have
It's
pronounced
Cuban Sriracha, yeah.
Cuban sriracha.
Isn't sriracha a name brand?
No, I think it's a style of sauce.
Oh,
But Pepper Jelly Company.
Pepper Jelly Company.
and
And
then-
it's good timing for that, too, by the way, because Sriracha is blowing up. Burger King picked it up this year.
Right, absolutely. And he was an incredibly cool dude, and he was. You could tell he was very heartfelt, and the whole thing meant a lot to him, and it means a lot to us that he's sponsoring the broadcast.
Exactly, yeah. I'm really, really happy that we can continue to support him in his endeavor.
Absolutely. And then we have Billy Procida of the Man Whore Podcast is an official sponsor of the broadcast. How cool is that?
Was he shirtless when he paid you?
Oh, my God. I like to think so. Billy was on our show. He has the Man Whore Podcast where he interviews women he's slept with.
Anything. If he did anything with him.
Anything.
Anything
Make
romantic or physical or whatever.
Incredibly funny dude, and I'll never forget because we actually used Skype so we could see each other. And me and Dave are sitting there, and Billy has no shirt on.
Yeah,
he
just
showed up
shirtless.
with no shirt. Another friend of ours is West Coast Project.
Really?
West Coast Project is a sponsor of the Nothing Important broadcast.
Nice. Yeah, we were supposed to do some cross-promotional stuff that kind of fell through. We got to get back in touch with them real soon.
Absolutely, and
For
have
the,
him back on. He does a lot of pop culture, about TV shows. And he was a pretty funny dude. He's
Real nice guy.
incredibly interesting. I'm not sure if we're allowed to say, but his real life job is incredibly.
It was very interesting, yes.
Very interesting. On the surface, if you were to say it, it doesn't seem like anything, but incredibly.
Yeah, we had to get into details, then we realized how interesting it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Then also, this is kind of cool.
If you want to know what he does, go listen to the episode, and maybe we talked about it. I don't remember.
This is kind of cool. A podcast by the name of From a Basement in Tulsa.
That because you sent me the list of a few, not even all these sponsors, but yeah, what the hell is that? That sounds awesome.
It's an independent music podcast where they play music, talk about it with the artists themselves,
okay.
and play it.
Well, that's my kind of thing. That's my
Right.
jam, baby.
So we have a few slots left. Again, we're not looking to make money. We're just kind of looking to cover some of the costs, and it's kind of like it's an experiment, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
We've never been on radio before, and it's going to be a totally different. It's going to be different flow to the show.
We're kind of dipping our toes into the revenue stream.
Right. Well, it's because when you have a podcast, everybody's like, "Oh, you should get sponsors for your podcast," and nobody has any clue how the fuck that works.
Right.
People like Adam Carolla and Mark Maron. Yeah, they make money through Amazon because they have millions of listeners. So just by sheer statistics, somebody's
Right.
going to buy shit through Amazon and give them money.
Our fan base is more of the skip this part of the podcast.
Right. So I just wanted to give all those folks thanks for kind of taking a leap of faith on us already. We still have some spots available. If you go to nothingimportantpodcast.com, click the Advertise With Us link. It'll give you everything you need to know. It's a good deal. You're guaranteed to at least reach tens of thousands of listeners because your ads go out on the broadcast, the podcast, and It's All Good Man podcast. And the last people that are also sponsors are our friends from First Base and Beyond.
Yeah.
I just got a copy of the book, and if you remember them, we had Rebecca Love and Jocelyn Stone on the podcast, and we played a game show where we helped them out with the definitions for their book.
Right.
And what First Base and Beyond is, it's expanding the baseball metaphor. First base is kissing, right? Is that what it was?
Mm-hmm.
I was told I was from the 1950s when we recorded that. For the life of me, Tim, I always thought first base was holding hands and shit like that, but apparently it's kissing.
What are the bases to you?
I think
Just go around the horn. I'll tell you mine.
I thought first base was. Yeah, first base was kissing. Second base was like touching and maybe some hand play. Third base was oral, and then home is having sex.
See, I always grew up with the theory, whatever. First base is kissing, second base is above the waist, third base is below the waist, and fourth base is home, is banging.
And then partying in the dugout
way.
is butt stuff.
I thought that was like sliding into home.
Well, either way, none of mine were correct, but it was a fun game show. Two incredibly cool dudes. They sent me a copy of the book. It's hilarious, and they're also, you heard their commercial at the beginning of this episode, and just some cool dudes. Make sure that make sure that you support them as well for supporting us. That would mean a lot to us. So the why I bring this all up is because 2016, I feel is going to be a big year for us. I can't announce it yet, but we're going to be syndicated through a pretty popular podcast network. I can't really talk about it right now because not everything is official until like they post it and make the announcements. We're going to be on radio, and we're going to do a lot. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff. Keep bringing in celebrities, and it's going to be a great year. Absolutely.
Is it just me, or does Nothing Important Broadcast sound like a really crappy feminist podcast?
Dumb nice.
Chick.
Every time you say it, I'm like, I picture like two softball players like talking about how they're oppressed in the workplace.
You never know. It might go that route. It might go that route.
I applied to be a producer on the Man Repellent.
On Man
podcast.
Repellent?
The Man Repellent or Man Repeller podcast, some woman's podcast about she can't get laid, I guess. I don't know.
Man repellent, like hairy armpits and
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, 2016.
I'm going to cut that out.
Going to be a good year. Make sure you stay tuned to Nothing Important.
And now an excerpt from the book of things Dave doesn't care about.
Changing your fucking
Picture filters to represent your...
Yeah, changing your Facebook picture to support something.
Right.
And no matter what the fuck it is, I don't care.
Right. Like I made the comment the other day, it's amazing how like 3 weeks after nobody has a French flag.
Right.
Right? Like,
well, they already changed all the problems in the world by putting Facebook French flag up over their profile picture.
Right. Same thing with gay rights. Like there was rainbow filters everywhere for like 3 days, and then everybody went back to their normal picture.
You know,
now it's lightsabers.
That guarantees you an automatic swipe left on any dating app if you got some stupid fucking
and so
outrage of the week.
So what does that say about Star Wars? It's getting just the same amount of push and publicity as the French thing and the gay rights.
Well, see, but that proves the point that it's just people latching on to something that's popular.
But
it proves the point that people have nothing else to do but log on and tell people about they care about shit that they really have no fucking idea what's going on.
I've always thought nobody really gives a shit about anything.
My favorite is
I think people give a shit more about presenting the fact that they give a shit about stuff.
Right now, people give a shit more about giving a shit than actually giving a shit.
Exactly. That's the most beautiful way to put it. Exactly. That's how I feel all that stuff is. It's like the what was that bullshit where people were pouring buckets of ice water?
The ice bucket challenge.
Yeah, it's like
Greg Louganis disease or something.
Yeah, like whoo. Man, you guys are really doing something. So instead of donating to the cause...
I'm sorry. I only didn't laugh because my former boss died of ALS during that trend.
Oh, well, obviously there wasn't enough ice bucket challenges then, was there?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
No, apparently.
If more people would have poured ice on their head?
Maybe if he would have poured ice on his head, he would have survived it.
That dude raised a lot of money for it, but I mean, he did it not by being fake and not actually donating money. Like, he did real shit.
Well,
but yes, it's Lou Gehrig's disease, Tim.
Oh, okay.
And there are studies being done that he might not have died from Lou Gehrig's disease.
Oh, what did he die of? Cocaine overdose?
Poser.
He might have died of CTE.
Oh, cardiac pulmonary exoplasm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exoplasm. So you got to call it the Ghostbusters.
Chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Oh, a cephalopagus?
It's the concussion
Snuffleupagus?
It's from having too many concussions.
Big Bird's imaginary friend's cousin, a cephalopagus.
It's about concussions. You know that movie starring Will Smith doing a fucking African accent?
That's a horrible accent, by the way, but he's going to get...
That's Oscar bait.
This was an excerpt from the book of things Dave doesn't care about.
You're listening to Nothing Important.
That was a funny idea, Tim.
Thanks.
Dave.
Yeah, man.
So we've kind of touched on it before, and actually it was funny because a couple episodes, you kind of got cut off, but you started talking about your Eeyore-ness,
Yeah, I did.
right? And then we went into something else, and then some interview that we talked to. So define Eeyore-ness to us.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Riveting.
Riveting.
I think I just did it. See, that's what I was doing
That's
there.
good.
I was doing it with an
Yeah, I see that.
example of it.
No,
Yeah,
that's good.
I'm just, I'm very low strung.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very not excitable. I'm hard to read.
It's a low string.
And
know.
so,
I move slow. My best friend is a bear that's addicted to honey. And by honey, I mean heroin.
there's like this little English boy that keeps like sneaking into the
It's
woods. and
fucking
shit.
that. There's this tiger that just bounces around all the fucking time, and he's so goddamn happy. It just pisses me off. My tail falls off sometimes,
There are a lot of drug references in Winnie the Pooh, aren't there?
There's a lot of drug references in everything because of the people that make it as on drugs.
That's probably true. Very true. So,
Actually, the story about Winnie the Pooh is awesome because it's stories that he used to tell to his child, and he wrote them down, and then it became like so popular he fucking hates it.
really?
Yeah.
I hate money too.
Yeah. Being rich sucks. I can only imagine how terrible it would be to afford virtually anything you want. That's got to be a fucking burden.
Well, money can't buy happiness.
Sure as hell can rent it.
Money is happiness.
You're on today, Dave.
Am I? It's this Coors Light I'm drinking.
Yeah, first
It's
one.
born in the Rockies, and it's cold.
So your Eeyore-ness, so you feel that's hard. Do you feel that affects your
I feel it affects
relationships with people?
with people, with professionalism, sometimes
Mhm.
with businesses. I'm trying to get a professional gig doing what I've been trained to do, and I'm just, I'm always just kind of blah.
Why do you think that is?
It's just the way I'm
Do you
strung.
think it's like too much weed or like what? I mean,
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably because of the pot.
I've always been like that, though.
You've always smoked
I
pot.
don't
though.
want to also. No, even when, it's just how I've always been. Remember when we worked at the travel centers of America?
yeah.
I was not on anything in those days.
Mm-hmm.
And I would walk in, and the old bitch would be like, "What's up, Eeyore?" I'd be in 15 minutes late, just kind of saunter in with my head down.
Mm-hmm.
Even like middle school, I'd walk around with my head down. Not
But
a
I mean, do you
person.
feel that's like a self-esteem thing, or do you think that's? I mean, it's one thing to be like low-keyed because I feel like I'm a pretty low-keyed person because I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like, okay, cool. Like, let's rock. But
So I don't know. Sometimes I think it's a kind of a high self-esteem thing. Like, I don't need to show you how excited I am about this because I'm just really secure about how I feel about things.
Mhm.
Keep telling
Some
yourself
people
that.
project.
You sound more conceited than anything.
Yeah,
I'm so magnanimous. I don't give a fuck. what you
exactly.
guys
Hey,
think
man,
about
everybody's got to have an ego, right?
it. Mhm. Except for me, I have like no ego whatsoever.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
So you're an audio engineer,
I'm an audio engineer.
right? Record music, obviously
But
podcasts.
I think my Eeyore-ness helps with some engineering aspects, though, because I don't get excitable. I've been called in to do a live show. I get the phone call 15 minutes after the show's supposed to start to a club that's half an hour away,
right.
and I show up and get the show on the road,
Right.
and I don't freak out because I'm Eeyore, dude. I'm level.
So like even under
know?
pressure, like even if like all eyes are on you and like the weight of the world is on you, you're just a mellow kind of.
If I know what I'm doing, yes.
So what amps you up? Like what gets you going then?
Bitches.
Bitches, okay. But like that's not like a good amp up, right? Like that's not like oh yeah, bitches. It's like fucking
what
bitches.
gets me really excited is good movies, good art.
Mhm.
I will get excited about art.
I've seen you throw up before shows because you were so excited.
That was nervous and excited. Well, that's good art. We put out good art, right?
Oh, okay.
Well, I
You know.
guess if you want to call it that. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
well, let me backtrack then and say that playing live is the ultimate high, yes. And I
Okay.
haven't played live in a very, very long time. Maybe that's why I've been more Eeyore lately. I'm
gotta get that
I'm
out
missing
from
my ultimate drug.
Deep in your Gideons. Just
Yeah.
Pull it
Yeah.
out.
What's preventing you from playing live? I mean, you have talent. You can play guitar. You can sing decently.
Sing decently. I don't play solo shows.
Why?
I don't want to play other people's music worse than they do it.
Yeah, but you're not though. You're putting like your own spin on it.
Yeah, if I
playing
do
it would
that-
be worse. Would be like if you try to play Katy Perry and sing and sound exactly like Katy Perry, but you're not.
Right. Well, that's the thing is I need an angle. I'm actually kind of working on it and have been thinking about it and playing more open mic nights to get over some of the stage fright I have about playing by myself. I do have stage fright to be alone on stage.
I'll come stand by you.
That would probably actually help.
Just
But
stand there
because
and do nothing.
people go around these open mic nights and they play cover songs and they sing them straight up and it's like, why? Like, I don't give a shit how you sing fucking Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone. You're not Bill Goddamn Withers. You know? Like, you can't top that.
Right.
You know? But if you do something to put your own spin on things, I guess that's cool.
So just write like your own hits.
Mhm.
I don't write songs.
Why? Like,
This is radio, not TV, Dave.
Right,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
have you ever attempted? I mean, because for example, I know for a fact you have a song that everybody loves called 14 Inches of Love.
I wrote a song when I was 16 years old that
Excellent
people
song.
still want me to play, yes.
Mhm. I think you should play it right now.
Is the one song
Mm-hmm.
that I like wrote.
Right.
Even like Together Forever was a collaboration of 6 drunk assholes on a frat porch. You know.
Great song though. I love that.
Oh, great song. I didn't even write the music for it, but I write riffs. Like I've been in bands and I write riffs, but I've never like composed songs, and I don't consider myself a good lyricist.
Okay. But do you think if you practice on that and like you're talking about how art gets you excited? There's a lot of art in writing your own songs. Have you tried that to try to like get out of your Eeyore-ness? Like, have you tried writing like just as an exercise to see how it makes you feel?
I have a little bit, but not. I haven't like stuck with it.
Mhm.
Like I sat down and been like, I'm gonna write this song, and then I work on it for like a week, and then I get away from it for a bit, and I come back to it, and I'm like, this is fucking dog shit, and I scrap it.
Why?
I've done stuff like that.
Do you when you scrap it? Do you keep it or do you just throw it away?
Sometimes I throw it on the back burner. I still have some ideas that I've worked on throughout the years.
You should go back through those and.
I've tried. There's one song I literally wrote a chorus that I thought I was really cool about 7 or 8 years ago, and yeah, I've tried to make a song around it, and I can't. And I don't know. I'm not John Cougar Mellencamp.
Few are.
John Cougar Mellencamp would write songs for 8 hours a day. Like
there's only like 3 people in the world who are John Cougar.
Right.
Mellencamp.
Literally.
But I've always found that impressive, actually, because he's a musician, so he clocks in and does a full 8 hours of writing songs.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, of all the crap, there's bound to be a good one in there
But
somewhere.
most of his stuff that even makes the albums is dog shit.
Well, that's like your opinion, man.
Yeah, it's just absolute shit about nothing that has some kind of catchy
melody.
Yes,
Exactly.
with shitty lyrics.
What would be so what
John,
would
if
be,
you're listening, fuck you.
once
Big
again,
Grim
just trying to
Turns
piss off
opinions?
everybody, just trying to burn bridges before we even get to them. So ideally though, what kind of songs would you want to write? Like love songs? Because I don't
No.
see you like me. I can't like I've written songs for our band and stuff like that, but they've always been at least mildly tongue in cheek. I can't take shit.
Yeah,
serious.
I was gonna say
Like,
I've worked on some tongue in cheek love songs.
Mhm.
I did write one song that nobody's heard. That's
Why don't
like
you play it right now?
personal.
You got a guitar right there.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Why?
No, I'm not gonna do
Do
that.
it.
Nope.
Dave.
For one, I don't remember the lyrics,
Mm.
and for two, I don't want to.
I want to hear 14 Inches of Love. It's been a long time.
Has it now? Yeah. Well,
Yes.
too bad that song's
Well,
retired.
No.
Oh.
It is the Christmas episode, kind of.
I got an idea.
Mm.
After this, let's record a live version of 14 Inches of Love.
All drunked up. We need
Yeah.
a bass
Yeah.
player.
All right. So stay tuned for 14 Inches of Love with Dave.
Well, what do you think, Brian? Do you think I got a little too much Eeyore-ness going on?
I do, and it's fucking aggravating.
Is it?
It is. Because I love you. I've known you shit since like high school, right?
Mhm.
Like so it's a long time. And especially when we do the podcast, right? Like I like we'll get a celebrity interview and I'll be like, Dave, guess who we're talking to? Like fucking this guy that you like. And you're like, oh, cool. I'm like, all right, you got to help me out here, Dave. Like, do you want to talk to him? Yes or no? Like,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You're
Yeah,
just
but
not starstruck. You're just not easily
Well,
impressed.
and
I think
that's
that's the whole thing. You're just not easily impressed.
I'm kind of, yeah, I'm really not easily impressed, no. I'm really hard to shock and surprise. And but that's my thing is like if I say yes, like just assume that I'm excited.
Right, but I think part of your issue is
Yes.
you said that it might affect some of your relationships with people and professionally is that it's one thing to be like even keel and like tuned down low, but you have like no glimpse of enthusiasm whatsoever. Because I'm very much the same way. Like my wife gets frustrated with me because she'll bring something up and like I'll be like, yeah, like at least I'm like giving a little enthusiasm to it. She's like, you don't even care. I'm like, no, I mean, fuck yeah, like let's do it, But like Dave would be like, yeah.
No, honestly, I think adult males that don't really hang their excitement on other people's successes are all kind of the same. Where I find myself when I'm in a conversation with a new person I'm talking to, or maybe a girl I want to sleep with, and I'm like trying to be overly excited about stuff, and it always just comes off as normal person conversation.
You know what it is? I feel the insincerity behind it, and I don't want to project that because I know it's insincere.
I feel that exact same thing.
Maybe that's what it is I am such an honest person. Like I don't bullshit, I don't lie, and I don't want to portray feelings that I'm not really feeling.
I understand that 100% because it's
maybe that's. I think we got to the root. We have psychoanalyzed Dave, haven't we?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, we have.
Also, I wasn't baby talked when I was younger.
I don't believe in baby talk. I think that's stupid.
My parents, at least my mom, because I spent a lot of time with my mom, would talk to me like this. So I feel uncomfortable talking. Well,
as the only parent in the room, that's one thing that aggravates the shit out of me as a parent. Like I'm nice to my kids, and I'm gentle with them because I love them, and I'm not gonna be like what the fuck, kid, But like I have never ever done the whole oh,
right.
You want a pinky? You want a pinky?
You don't baby talk. You do change your voice to get a little excited.
Right, yeah.
But you don't it's like if you don't want your kid to be a nasally whiny asshole, don't talk to him like a nasally whiny asshole.
Oh, shit.
I'm fired up about something. You got me sparked.
Speaking of which, I hate Calliou. Do you guys know what Calliou is?
There is a thing going on about that, so please elaborate as someone that knows more than me.
All right, so Calliou is I think it's a Canadian cartoon, but it's on PBS, like the American Public Broadcasting System. And Calliou is about this little bald kid, kind of looks like Charlie Brown, but he is the whiniest pussy ever. Like the whole cartoon centers around like this little kid, right? Like most cartoons teach kids to be somewhat independent, teaches them to like learn ABCs or go out and experience things, right?
Put the microphone in front of your mouth. It fell. Tighten the thing.
But this Calliou cartoon, this little kid, it literally centers around where he'll walk up to his mom and dad and be like, I want to go out and play outside, but it's raining. That's how Calliou talks the entire time. He's just a whiny
bitch.
Little kid. Exactly. And you know what makes it worse is kids pick up on that because kids are still learning themselves. They don't know shit.
They learn by aping, by mocking.
So my daughter loves PBS, right? And it's weird because she can pull it up on the iPad. It's crazy. Like she'll know how to go to PBS and watch shows like Curious George and Dinosaur Train, both of which are very cool cartoons. And I it's funny because like I enjoy watching them with the kid because I love cartoons. And
you really enjoy watching those horrible cartoons?
I do. Trust me, it's a weird parent thing, but like for me, part of the fun is being able just to veg out with my daughter and watch cartoons. It's awesome.
You'll know what that's like when we have children someday.
Yeah, I know people say that a lot, but it is seriously one of the best things ever. I can't even describe it.
I didn't watch cartoons when I was a kid. I don't want to watch cartoons with my kids.
I don't have kids, and I love watching cartoons.
She watched one episode.
No, animated movies.
Joking. She watched one episode of Calliou, and she was like, Dad, I really want a bottle of water because I'm thirsty, which she had never asked for before.
Knock that shit off.
Right, and that's what I said. I'm like, okay, no more Calliou.
All right, we're putting on the A-team.
It somehow gets this like hook in kids to where like even watching it once, I literally shut it off because she did that during an episode, like started mimicking him. I'm like, no more Calliou. We are not going to watch this whiny little kid, so you turn into a whiny little kid. Because not to get overly political, but like there are way too many fucking pussies nowadays. And, and my daughter.
That's not politics. That's truth.
That's society.
I'm going to take pride in the fact that my daughter, beautiful little blonde girl, is probably going to be able to kick the shit out of most of these fucking idiots in Chicago's kids because their kids are fucking pussies and watches Calliou. So I shut it off. But it gets the hooks in the kids, and it took literally like 2 months to stop her from whining just for basic things. Like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Like, well, go to the bathroom, Like,
what you're not saying is a lot of closed fist disciplines. That's what you're really getting at.
Right. Look, if anything, at least my daughter can take a punch, you know? The key is you got to hit her in the soft spot so it doesn't bruise.
Well, you just don't close your fist all the way. You keep your hand kind of open. It softens blood.
Right. So it's soft, right, because it creates like a kind of like a shock on a car, like scrunches to like.
Well, and it doesn't hurt your wrist that way.
Right. Well, yeah,
exactly.
If I fuck up my wrist, I can't jerk off.
Yeah, everybody's better off.
Right. You guys get where I'm coming from, like right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, like I'm kind of partial to Fleshlight these days.
Fleshlight.
Ooh.
We need to get them as a sponsor for the podcast.
But I'm totally joking, so I would love to try. I'll try one out on the fucking podcast. In a room by myself, of course.
That has YouTube.
I was going to say,
YouTube viral video.
I'm not coming to that
Next videos, here we come. Somebody said something about Kevin Smith was talking about it on his podcast, and he said he's never going back to his hand again.
Really?
Like he's in it for life.
Where do you hide that thing? Like, or do you embrace it and like keep it on the nightstand?
I don't know if your wife.
I would like to think that there's some sort of like glass case, kind of like a trophy.
Right.
I would like to think that there's like a nice wooden stand with like a hole cut.
You know what I envision? I envision the beginning of the Raiders of the Lost Ark with the idol on the weighted, the counterweight pedestal.
But you're like playing with your balls and you're weighing your balls as opposed to
it weighs the same amount as your balls.
Okay.
So to take it off, you have to rest your balls on it. That way your wife can't fucking steal it from you. See, if she tries to get rid of it on you,
you suction cup a dildo to the wall and then just stick it on the dildo, and that's always there for you.
I like the way you think.
That's awesome.
And now, the fake outrage of the week.
This whole concussion in the NFL thing is fucking retarded too.
What are you talking about? The fact that I don't know.
That grown men make a conscious decision, and everybody knows that if you fucking hit people with your head, you can get concussions. So later in their life, they start suing people
because somebody went on record saying, "Hey, we need to be safer because we're not gladiators." And my response was, "I pay money to watch you get hurt. You're a fucking gladiator." That's
no, but you don't
definition.
understand. You don't understand. They
you got millions of dollars to get hurt for my enjoyment.
No, but they prey upon the less fortunate and the inner city kids that only have a way to get out by hitting heads with other inner city kids. Therefore,
I think the easiest way to solve that is just bring back leather helmets.
That's
no face mask, leather helmet.
What about those new what are those blow up balls you see like where they put themselves in the ball?
You can get inside and
Could you still get a concussion from that? Because the whole purpose of a concussion is when your head stops and your brain keeps moving.
Right. Yeah.
So couldn't you still get a concussion from being inside?
You probably
one of those
could. It's
bang
just that your head's going to stop a lot slower because of
or
it
bang
has
bus.
cushion.
You get a concussion in a bang bus.
Right. But I know.
You just bring up the bang bus.
Well, in my. Damn
is that still a thing?
Because I wanted to keep going with the concussion thing.
I'm sure a lot of whores got concussions on the bang bus.
I'm sure they did.
I was going to say, first off, it doesn't seem like it's very safe to be driving around and participating in those activities to begin with.
Right.
There had to be at least
wasn't safe at all. They weren't even using condoms.
Their vaginas got concussed. Contusions. But in 4 years of flag football, there's 3 concussions on my team.
Oh man, you guys are so
because
you guys probably were awesome at pickleball in gym class too.
It's almost like any sort of physical activity has inherent risk.
Well, because the leather helmet argument is a good one because it will deter you from using your head as a weapon.
Right.
But there's also an extreme amount of incidental contact involved in any kind of sport.
Yeah, shit happens.
So the rate would probably be just the regular rate of any other sport at that point.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Except for tennis when I won the French Open.
Right.
Be sure to follow Nothing Important online at nothingimportantpodcast.com. Find us on iTunes, on Twitter at NotImportantPC, and you can also find us on Facebook. Nothing Important is recorded with help from Third City Sound in Joliet, Illinois. Thanks for being awesome.